Hi everyone, it's Mrs. Eves. The book I chose for you this week is called A Seed is Sleepy by Diana Hutz Aston and Sylvia Long. I chose this book for you because next time you come to the garden classroom, we will have a garden lesson on planting seeds for our next growing season, the cool season. And this book is so amazing because it really shows how special seeds are. Seeds are so resilient, which means they are able to survive. They're able to put up with so much obstacles that come in their way of growing. And that could be temperatures that are not right, or maybe their environment isn't right. So I hope you enjoy this story, boys and girls, and I hope that you also will find that you are also resilient when things get tough for you as well. A seed is sleepy. It lies there tucked inside its flower, on its cone, or beneath the soil, snug and still. A seed is secretive. It does not reveal itself too quickly. Most seeds sleep through a season or two, waiting for the warmer temperatures of spring, but some take their time. 10 years might pass before the bright red-orange seed of the Texas mountain laurel shows its purple blooms. A seed is fruitful. 90% of the plants on Earth are flowering plants. Flowering plants produce fruits of all shapes and textures that keep the seeds cozy until they have found the right place to grow. So for example, the cucumbers you ate last week, those are technically fruits because inside them this is where the seeds live. Oops. A seed is naked. Yes, boys and girls, sometimes a seed is naked. Scientists call gymnosperms, seeds that aren't clothed in fruits, naked seeds. So yeah, sometimes you don't find your seeds inside fruits. Sometimes they're somewhere else. Some naked seeds, or most naked seeds, hide themselves on the scales of cones until they are ready to make a dash for the ground. Who would guess that a seed as small as a freckle would grow into the world's tallest tree? Only 10% of redwood trees begin as seeds, though most redwood trees spring from existing trees. So only a few of these big, ginormous redwood trees that get up as tall as 350 feet start as seeds. Often most of them come from the ground, from underneath the ground, from the roots of these redwood trees. Seeds come in many sizes. The orchid seed is the smallest of all. There might be 1 million seeds in one pod. The seed of the Coco de Mar palm is the largest. It can grow up to 60 pounds. 60 pounds, that's more than some of you weigh. A seed is adventurous. It must strike out on its own in search of a less crowded place to put down its roots. A parachute of fine, silky hairs can take a dandelion seed 100 miles away from its parent plant. So in order to survive, many seeds often have to move away from the parent plant because they're competing with the other seeds for soil and sun and water. We actually have these milkweed plants out in our garden right now, and you can see these seed pods opening up and doing the same thing. They start to fly out with these parachutes, carrying them away to take them to another place where they can grow. So look for those the next time you go to the garden. Drift seeds float on ocean currents from one shore to another. They have air inside them to help them float, and their thick protective shells keep out the seawater. So all these different plants, all these different seeds come from plants that grow near the ocean. And so in order for them to survive, they don't have parachutes, but they have these shells around them that allow them to float and also to keep the water out. A seed is inventive. To find a spot to grow, a seed might leap from its pod, or cling to a child's shoestring, or tumble through a bear's belly and end up on the floor somehow. A seed hopes to land where there is plenty of sunlight, soil, and water. Without that, it won't survive. A seed is generous. It gives the baby plant or embryo a seed coat to keep it warm. So here's our seed coat around our embryo, and that protects it. The embryo's first meal comes from its seed leaves or cotyledons. Seeds with one seed leaf, like corn, are called monocots, and seed with two leaves, like beans, are called dicots. So this one has two leaves, so this is definitely a dicot. And you can see, boys and girls, these plants, beans, rice, pumpkins, they all start from these tiny seeds and grow into these beautiful mature plants that often produce food for us. Some seeds are ancient. What does ancient mean? Oh, if you said old, you're correct. Not all seeds are eager to germinate. Some have lain dormant or slept undisturbed for more than 1,000 years. Wow, that's a long time. The oldest known seed to sprout came from an ancient date palm tree, and after it was unearthed from a long ago King's Mountaintop Palace in Israel, a scientist planted it, and 4 weeks later, it sprouted. A seed is thirsty and hungry. Once a seed has shed its coat, it drinks in the rain, the dew, and yesterday's icicles. It feasts on minerals in the soil. Part of the seed, the root, feels the tug of gravity and digs down deep into the soil, while another part of the seed, the shoot, is sensitive to light, so it reaches for the sun. So part of the seed grows down and part of the seed grows up, depending on what it needs. A seed is clever. Whoops. It knows to seek the sunlight, to push itself up, up, up through the soil, but it must wait a while before that happens. Plants make their own food through a process called photosynthesis. Inside plant leaves are cells containing chemicals that absorb sunlight. Light gives them energy they need to turn water and carbon dioxide, a gas, into the air, into food. A seed is sleepy, but only until it has found a place in the sun and it has had its breakfast and a drink of water. Then the seed is finally awake. So when you come again, like I said, you will be planting seeds for our garden. And yes, it's going to take a while. We are going to need to be patient as they find a way in the places we plant them to survive and to get everything they need, so they can wake up and turn into beautiful flowers or food for us to eat. So I look forward to seeing you next time in the garden classroom. Thank you for listening to our story today.